Oh, hi, Dave.
Ian, how's it going, buddy?
It's going great.
Ian, we have a guest in the blanket fort with us today.
We do. We've tricked another person into joining us in your basement. It is Andrew Ganz of the Car Connection, Motor Authority, and Green Car Reports.
Where are you going, Andrew?
Wait, why am I here? I don't. Is that locked? Is it? I'm very concerned.
Sorry.
Yeah.
This is the TeamClearCoat podcast.
We are allegedly a car podcast.
That is not why you guys lured me down.
That's not. I know that's different than what the Craigslist ad said.
The only thing you said to me before was, "Does this rag smell of chloroform?"
I do know that smell well.
Right.
A wistful look in your eye.
Yeah. So
Memories. No.
Andrew is with the Car Connection, Motor Authority, and Green Car Reports.
That is correct.
Yes. Andrew, how's it going, buddy?
It's going well. It's going well. I'm doing great. Yeah.
Well, we have our whiskey, so we should cheers.
We do. Yeah. Cheers to the whiskey.
Cheers to whiskey and ginger beer.
Ginger beer for the one guy that doesn't drink. Delicious.
So, we're gonna get into some car history and some other stuff later.
Yeah.
But we got to address the elephant outside the house.
In the street in front of my house, yeah.
You pulled up in a van.
Which, when you invite me down to your basement, what else am I going to pull up in?
Right.
An unmarked white van.
Unmarked white van.
Right.
Yeah.
Why is there that plastic sheeting all over the inside? Yeah.
It's so easy to clean. It's great. It's just perfect. Yeah.
To hose the blood right out of it.
Perfect. Blood, whatever.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things you can hose. Yeah.
Exactly.
So I pulled up in a Mercedes-Benz van.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty fantastic in a bizarre way.
And it's the Metris.
It is
yeah,
the Metris.
I'm going to pull up a picture so people can see.
The passenger version, we got to go for a little ride in it and
I
kind of pick it apart. So the thing we can't get out of the way of is the price tag, right?
It's astounding. Yeah, I mean, take a look at the picture there. Like,
yeah.
Look, I guess your listeners can't necessarily see this, but this is a white van with unpainted bumpers, steel wheels, vinyl flooring, cloth seats. Doesn't even have power mirrors. Doesn't even have mirrors that are adjustable from inside the car. You have to get outside and like.
Yeah, they don't have those old school little pass through thingies.
Nothing. I had to look in the owner's manual to figure that out, how to adjust the mirrors.
And they were
a
like
little picture of where the adjustment should be.
Yeah.
If you had paid for that option.
Yeah.
It has Bluetooth that won't connect to my iPhone. I have an iPhone 6. Like, it's not the newest, but it's not that old.
Right.
And that van is, drum roll. Thank you. Wow, I wasn't expecting that.
Well, yeah.
That van is, I don't even remember.
Yeah, it was
Give the
30.
exact number.
So it is with destination and options, $35,415.
That's insane.
Yeah.
That is.
It is very cool, though.
See, this is how the conversation goes between Ian and I, right? Like, I have I'm cheap, right? Ian is so enthusiastic about something, the price tag gets pushed into the background.
Yeah, which is why I'm always broke. Yes.
There's a correlation there.
Yeah, of course. But no, it is it is very cool because it has this weird combination of odd creature comforts where you wouldn't expect it.
Yeah.
Right.
And really good design and engineering for what it's supposed to do.
Yeah.
But
almost
but also like weird Spartan things.
Yeah, it's like it's almost really good at what it could be doing.
Right.
Does that make any sense?
It does. Like, and it's kind of reaching the uncanny valley of cargo vans because, like, the closer you get to being like the ultimate cargo van, the more glaring like the weird carpeting is and stuff like that, and the price tag.
And this one is not a cargo van. I mean, that picture up there is not.
Right.
That's not the actual one. That's just some auto show. But this is the passenger, and it's got how many seatbelts? 7, I guess.
Yeah.
2 in front, 2 in the middle, 3 in the back.
Well,
7 seatbelts.
it could have 8.
Yeah, you could do
because you could get 2 3 rows.
Yeah.
For it.
I wonder if that's an option. Interesting.
I'm sure it's got to be, right? It's got the
got
slots
all sorts of options.
Yeah. And the floor is completely flat, and it has just exposed rails where the seats clip in.
Yeah, which is not uncommon in a van.
And you can reconfigure them in many different ways. I wonder if you can even get buckets for the back. I don't know.
I bet you can. Yeah, because I mean, as we discussed earlier, it's the same thing as the Mercedes V-Class overseas, or the Vito, which is, they sell that in a really decadent version. I mean, it's got a dashboard that looks like it's out of a C-Class, very swoopy. It's got the floating entertainment screen look to it, high-end leather, high-end wood. I mean, it's a $60,000 van, but it's the same basic bones of
Right.
this thing.
Right.
With unpainted bumpers and cloth seats and vinyl floors.
Yeah.
I like the thing that you brought up though. Like, who is this van for?
I don't
Right?
know.
Because it's in a passenger configuration. You have things like electric doors, electric side doors,
Yeah.
And
which-
the button for them is like really. It looks like it's
Exquisite.
out of
like
like-
an S-Class or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It has an S-Class gear shift lever. I mean,
Yeah.
it's the same.
The stalks
The
feel
stock,
great.
yeah.
Yeah.
Everything feels good.
Yeah.
But everything is really cheap on it.
Right.
It's $35,000. It's the price of a well-equipped Chrysler Pacifica. Like
Yeah.
a Pacifica with leather and navigation.
Yeah.
Or this.
But I feel like they're
Who's buying
four different things because a family isn't buying this van, a business is
No.
buying this van, and so I think it's hipster moving company,
yeah.
or it's the shuttle for like a very adorable B&B.
Yes.
You know,
Oh, there you go.
But
Okay.
so my question from a business perspective, how many adorable B&Bs are buying a new shuttle van every year?
Right.
well, but
right.
Like
North
two-
America is not the most important market for
No.
this, right?
It's-
It
But they,
can't be.
you know, they federalized it. They're actually building a factory in South Carolina to build these things. If I understand correctly, right now they're built, I think, in Spain, maybe, and they are then disassembled, shipped over to the U.S., reassembled in South Carolina, and shipped to dealers.
Wow.
And that's just to get around the chicken tax.
Yeah,
You know, that tax that's on the
light trucks.
Yeah, light trucks coming from overseas.
Yeah, because the curb weight is like 6,700 pounds or
Is it
something like that.
much?
Is it
It
that
can't be.
much? That
Yeah.
thing was so.
Gross vehicle weight.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's gotta be
yeah.
like 4 or something. Yeah,
Yeah, 6,700 pounds.
That thing was so light.
yeah.
Yeah. So I drove it, and besides making you guys throw up in the back seat a little bit or a lot, guys, what was the standout feature of this? While Ian gets lost down a statistics rabbit hole, what is the best thing about this van?
It's the turning radius, right?
Absolutely.
The turning radius
Yeah.
is freaking bananas.
I would say the cup holders are pretty cool.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
cup
yeah, the
holders
turning-
are
the
cool.
turning radius, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. We easily turned around on a neighborhood street, and just it was fun to keep doing turns.
Fun is a word.
Fun, yeah.
You two were in the back,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
yeah. Nobody wanted to join me in the driver's seat, but
Well, no, it's
Why
your
would
van.
I-
You got to go in the back. You got to go
Yeah.
test it out.
Why would I sit in the driver's seat with you? That's weird, man. That's weird.
so let's lean into this whole like you have this van as a press van, right?
Yep.
It is for you to review.
Yes.
Let's talk about the mental mindset that you're putting yourself in to review this van, right?
It's a challenge on this one. I mean, I have to think like the consumer. But primarily, I write for the Car Connection. That's the site that I manage. And that is aimed at in-market consumers, so people who are shopping for a car right now.
Right.
Mhm.
The Mercedes Metris doesn't exactly rank high on search for us, so it's not something people are Googling and ending up on us, because they're not.
Surprise.
They're looking for a Prius, they're looking for an Outback, whatever.
Right.
So in this case, I have to think about who the target market is for this. And yeah, it's a commercial buyer, but the commercial buyer is either going to want the cargo one. Sure, makes sense. I get
Right.
that.
Right.
Or maybe like a nicer van, but other than the fact that it's got cargo capacity behind the third row, I don't really know why you would buy it.
Or what about like a sole proprietor? I'm still trying to get into like the mindset of like who this person is.
Yeah.
A sole proprietor who needs the cargo, but also needs to haul their family around occasionally.
Yeah, I mean that's
mean,
what a few years ago,
like a really narrow
maybe like
use case.
5-8 years ago, when Ford launched the Transit in the U.S.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah.
The old one that was looked like a car with a top hat on. I mean, just
Right.
an ugly thing. They were trying to market that primarily to commercial users, but they also brought over one with seats in the back,
Yep.
and that was the one that they were shredding the seats when they would get to the U.S. because it was built in Spain, I think, as well. And to get around that chicken tax, they would bring them over with a really cheap set of seats, shred them in Baltimore, put new seats in it, like proper seats that were, like what somebody would want, and then sell it. But that thing they were trying to sell as like a lifestyle vehicle for somebody who also happened to like run a cupcake delivery service or
Right.
whatever. And it's
Yeah.
like, all right, that's neat on paper, but
It's like
that doesn't exist.
10,000
Right?
people in
don't
the country.
exist. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And you're not a Sprinter van,
Yeah.
right?
Exactly.
Right? Because that's the default answer. But
Yeah.
like, so, yeah, like you're, and there was that, what's that weird Nissan multi-passenger
Oh,
vehicle?
the NV.
Yeah, the
They've got two.
NV200
the
or
200's
something.
the little one.
Yeah.
Also
so there's
sold
that.
as a Chevrolet.
Oh,
City
weird.
Express. Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah.
Okay. I wouldn't
Useless
have thought
trivia.
of those two Venn diagrams.
Useless trivia.
Yeah. So So you are like I mean, I have to say, like, it seems like you're embracing van man lifestyle.
I'm a van man.
Yeah.
At least for the next few days.
Let's talk about what that makes up.
I like to think whenever you get a new press car,
Right.
you just completely change your lifestyle totally to suit
you
it.
get a
totally.
Mustang and just like, you know,
I just run into crowds.
Yeah, exactly. Sweep into
Yeah,
pedestrians.
just try to knock them over.
Mowing motherfuckers over.
Yeah.
They don't need those people
Right?
anymore. They're done.
Yeah, you get an
Yeah.
Infiniti sedan like mine, and then you just tell people to get off your lawn.
And I look oddly like you when I'm driving it.
Yeah,
Really weird.
I'm
You're like
sorry.
6 feet taller than me. And, yeah, I mean, getting into the van man mentality is a challenge. I don't know if you can see up there, but my van T-shirt.
Yeah,
It's very cool.
That's
This is-
fantastic.
This is like an Econoline with
That's lifted.
A lift kit,
lifted, so it's like one of the what's it? Quigley, is that the company? Whatever it is that lifts them with the mountain bikes on top.
Yeah, and a dirt bike on the back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty rad, but it's not actually like I don't actually do any. Well, I mountain bike, but I don't really like have a van or anything.
You do now, Andrew.
I do. For
You
the
got a
next few
van
days,
now. Yeah.
I'm excited to drive it around, but I don't really know what to do with it. I don't know. I have no
Yeah.
idea.
Can you sign up to be a Lyft driver for a little bit?
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
The answer to that is no, but it's a great idea.
Yeah.
You get a Home
Pretty
Depot
sure I need
with
to
it.
own the vehicle to do that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I have no idea. Like I thought about like getting a bunch of friends and taking them out to dinner, but like I could do that in any 7-seat vehicle. This
True.
isn't any better at that. I could go park myself at the airport.
But if
Holiday
they have
Inn.
too much to drink and throw up, you can hose it out.
That rubber floor.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I'll take my friends out. I'll get them really drunk.
Yeah.
Really drunk.
And then test the turning radius
Yes.
a bunch of times.
There you
get
go.
them to puke.
Oh, you know what? We didn't test the turning radius the other way.
in reverse.
In reverse. Yeah. Right hand. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, there's 4 different directions. Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
All right, well, let's go do it.
Yeah. You gotta tick them all off. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ian,
Yes, sir.
I believe for our van man here, Andrew,
Mhm.
right? And
Yeah.
we'll have you back on the show sometime when you're like, I don't know, Ferrari man or, you know.
No, I'm always van man.
I've always been Van Man.
I like
We'll,
vans.
we'll ask him about Ferrari man. Like, like Ferrari man's not here right now.
That's my alter ego.
All right, so this brings us to an FMK cars. Dave, would you like to
I would
explain
love
FMK
to.
cars to the people?
Yes, so FMK Cars is a game that Ian and I invented while I was bored at a conference in Los Angeles. It is the classic game Fuck, Marry, Kill that we play with cars instead of people because we're nice. We're not awful, horrible people that have been elected to political positions.
That's $1
Yeah, I
in
know.
the swear jar,
God
sir.
damn it. Okay.
Mentioning Donald Trump on the main show
Oh.
gets you have to put $1 in the
$1.
swear jar.
Yeah, and then we're going to donate the money to charity or,
Oh.
you know. Yeah.
What charity?
There's a...
TBD.
yeah, TBD.
That's a
Yeah.
big one.
Oh,
It's popular.
TBD.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Anyway,
They
FMK
do good
Cars.
work. They do good work.
F means you fuck it, you hit it and quit it. That is your car for a day. M, you marry it. It is your daily driver.
Put a ring on it.
You get in that van and you never get out. And in K, you crush it. You send it to the crusher immediately.
Yeah, kill.
Ian,
Yep.
hit us with your FMK cars.
So this one is called If This Van's a Rockin', Get Your Mind Out of the Gutter. This is vans that will be exhibiting to outside observers unwholesome activities, but there are wholesome activities going on inside.
Are you
Oh,
are
okay.
you are you a fan of 30 Rock? Did you watch that show?
I never did.
Okay,
no.
there was a scene where a guy pulled up. Liz Lemon, Tina Fey had a flashback from when she was a kid, and a guy in a van pulled up and was like, "Hey, little girl, you want some candy?" And she's like, "Yeah." And he opens the door. He's like, "Great, because my nana made too much," and she's got like just a bunch of taffy and stuff like that. So it sounds bad, but it's actually wholesome on the inside.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
okay,
So,
gotcha.
so you have a business and a van, and you'll get it.
This is the type of van man you're going to be.
Okay.
For a
Gotcha.
day,
Yeah.
for your life.
I've got a week with this thing, so let's come up with some ways to use it.
Yeah.
All right. So the first one, Ford Transit. It can be the Connect, the small one, the Connect, or it can be the regular one. Mobile mattress testing unit. You know the thing at IKEA where they have,
Yeah.
and it goes like this.
Yeah. It's like a
Yeah. You only get squeaky ones to test. So there's no windows, and all anyone can hear from the outside is sign on the sign, or sign on the side of the van says, mobile mattress testing unit. Doesn't look at all suspicious.
Not at all.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm
All right.
following. I
All
got
right.
it.
So
Yeah,
the next
okay.
one, Ram ProMaster cargo van.
Okay.
The big one that's like super tall.
Let me
Yeah.
see if I can find a picture.
Oh
of
yeah.
that.
Sumo wrestlers sparring. And they are greasy and vocal. And you can tell there's going to be some slaps, some like bearskin slaps that
Yep,
people are going to
yep.
hear. And also, you have to have this going on in back of you whenever you're in the
The
car.
entire time. Do I
Yeah.
have a partition between?
No, you do not.
No.
Lots of
I'm not
man.
sure that this is DOT approved.
It does. Yeah.
Ian, he thought he was going to get a partition.
Yeah.
I thought a
You-
partition.
You're not getting a partition,
Oh,
Andrew.
jeez, this is
Yeah.
this is
Yeah.
quite something.
Sorry,
You
buddy.
also have a sign on the side of the van that says, "Andrew's big and hard Ram," and then just sounds of men running into each other. In
I
the
already
back.
have that one.
Okay. The third one, Mercedes Metris.
Ooh.
I regret to inform you, literal fudge packers. People putting soft fudge into small containers and lots of squishing noises. And the sign on the side of the van says, "Andrew's Fudge Packers."
Again, I have that one.
Okay.
Yeah. Ian, you didn't walk over to the driver's side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ah.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
you didn't see that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You were
Uh-huh.
wondering about that odd smell on the van.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
It's chocolate.
Uh-huh.
Of course.
Chocolate.
Yeah.
I'm a fan.
So what do you
this is
think,
actually
Van
pretty-
Man?
This one's pretty easy. Yeah.
Is
as,
it?
as you're saying this, I'm easily picturing all of these. And,
Okay.
well, let's start with kill. I mean, that's going to be the sumos.
Oh, really?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because that's annoying.
Yeah.
That'd
No
be-
no
that would be
Ram
bad.
ProMaster. Ian
Yeah.
Ian's fascinated with the ProMaster
Oh,
because
it's-
of how high it is. I
it's-
think I could almost completely stand up
Yeah,
in it.
because they had one at the auto show, not this year, but the year before.
Yeah.
And Dave stood up in the back of it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's appealing, I suppose.
It's interesting.
Have you ever had the desire to stand up in a car?
In a
before?
moving vehicle other than an RV, no.
Yeah. Well,
No.
that's why I would kill it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I think that the basic vehicle is awful. I mean, it's based on a Fiat, the Fiat Ducato, I think.
Mhm.
It's an awful car. It's got a really like tight turning radius. You'd like that because it's front wheel drive, but it's terrible. And having sumos in the back who are greasy and rubbing up against me, that's not making it any better.
What if Ian
I would say slamming against
what
you is
if
probably more
Ian
like
and I
Slam-
put
oh,
on
I'm in.
Yeah.
Yeah, I change everything. If you're slamming out.
What if we put on the big diapers and we were the sumo
or
wrestlers?
in the big suits.
Yeah.
Well, obviously.
No, I'm thinking
Oh, just bare
Yep.
man on man.
that's
just
right. Well,
man
man on man with a solid layer of hair in the middle
Well,
there.
yeah, obviously, yeah.
Yeah, it's a nice little buffer zone there. Is there still a no partition still?
No
Okay, good.
partition.
I don't want one. for
Yeah,
that.
Yeah.
yeah.
Extra no partition.
Yeah, I wouldn't
Yeah.
want one. Yeah. Yeah. Good.
Okay,
Just
all right.
get rid of the driver's seat at that point.
Yeah.
Just like a big, like an apartment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, that one's dead.
Okay.
Mary, that one's pretty easy to me too because I would go for the one with the mattresses.
Okay.
The Ford.
Yeah,
Okay.
the Transit.
I do think actually the Transit is probably the best of those vans.
Yeah, I
Okay.
think so.
It's pretty good at what it does. The previous Transit Connect was
Well, not that
pretty
one.
atrocious. Yeah, that was not
What is
creepy at all.
that?
That's
Look up
perfect.
Transit Connect.
Oh, Transit Connect, sure. The Transit
We're
Connect.
looking up. We got to look up fair use images because we don't
Yeah.
want to get sued.
Yeah, look
there
at
you
Transit
go.
Connect.
There you
Look at
go.
that. Yeah. Look at that.
I mean, not pretty, but you know what? It's gonna do its job. and
Right.
It's functional, and none of them are exactly luxuries here. But
Right.
Well, no, they're
Um,
vans. Yeah.
yeah, and that one's got a mattress in the back of it. Even when the thing is punching, I could turn the punching thing off and sleep in it.
No, no. The
it's
punching
stuck
thing
on
does
all the
not turn off.
But it might be like
The
like
fence it's gonna break.
riding in a boat and having it like the waves like waft you to sleep. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah, I could see getting used to that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that reminds me of
I
college.
could see being driven mad by that.
And
It
in the college
reminds you of
dorms-
college.
Yeah, in the
Nice.
college
I like
dorms,
that.
you would hear that.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Just
Yeah.
walking down the hallway, you'd
Right?
hear that. Or
Yeah.
Maybe I went to a strange place. I don't know.
That's like my Ambien. Yeah. Yeah.
And I guess that leaves the very last one, the Mercedes
literal
with the
fudge
chocolate.
packers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what would you do with that? So for the 1 day ones, we like to say what we would do with that for a day.
Immerse myself in chocolate.
All right.
I have a
Good.
sweet tooth, and I would just swim in that chocolate.
Oh,
Make me
okay.
very
Nice.
happy.
Nice.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah,
What
very
would you do with this, Ian?
I think for a day I would do the sumo wrestlers.
Just because you want to watch it happen?
Yeah, and I'm also curious to know what a car would handle like with that much weight
With like
moving around in the
800
back.
pounds moving around?
Yeah. I feel like that would be entertaining. I would take it ice racing.
Not
It would be
well
pretty
is how
yeah,
that would.
yeah.
end up? And
yeah,
then,
no, that would end
and-
up. I would end up sideways.
on its,
Yeah.
on its side.
Yeah.
Right,
These-
and then
these are
like
tall
it's
vehicles.
sinking into the lake, like yeah.
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 Yeah. So after that, I'm dead, and then I'll have to answer the rest of it. No, and then I would marry. I would probably marry. I would marry the Fudge Packers.
You would?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes, I would, because then I could provide a service
Right.
to the community.
What
Yeah.
is your service? Chocolate?
Chocolate.
Yeah. Diabetes.
Okay. Diabetes is that's a service.
And then I have room to take the people to the hospital.
There you go.
See?
Oh.
It's just it's an
That's
all it's a one-stop shop.
I
Yep.
didn't realize that the fudge packing doesn't take up the entire thing.
It can.
This is like a compacted fudge packing. Like small
Yeah.
fudge
Yeah.
packing.
Well, no, the diabetic amputee, future amputee, has got to ride on the roof. So I got roof racks on this one.
Okay.
So
Gotcha.
Nice.
that's a $20,000 option on that car.
That
On
seems
the Mercedes.
Yeah.
That seems about
That's the left roof rack, and if you want the, we're making this
Right.
joke because the power doors, you can
Yeah.
get a power door just on one side.
For 760 United States dollars, you can have a sliding door on the right, or for 760 US dollars, you can have a sliding door on the left.
Let me see that sheet here. I almost never read these things, but yeah.
They're
Oh man.
a fount of information.
Yeah, I saw V12 and then I realized that was dyslexia telling me about the 12-volt battery. Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Power front windows with pinch protection. Why have we not tested these out, Ian? Put your digits or something else in those windows and we'll test them out. Yeah. Huh.
It's a wide aperture there. You could
I think
whatever
I'm
you
okay.
choose to do with that.
Oh, this is fantastic. Airbag. Side thorax pelvis driver.
It says thorax.
Thorax. It actually where's my thorax?
Oh,
Show me on
no.
Show me on the internet.
No, because that's telling us who the customer is for this car, and it is boutique beekeepers, because
Thorax.
bees have thoraxes.
I was just going to say maybe it's like bizarre black market plastic surgeons that are picking up people, picking up day laborers under the guise of giving them jobs and then stealing their kidneys.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's a growing market.
kidney thieves.
No,
Kidney
there's real
thieves.
growth there.
And as a van
A
man,
friend of mine told me.
right? Yeah,
Yeah.
you need to hop
You're
in the
aware.
lifestyle.
And
Van
So it
man.
only
hoses out.
has. I want to go back to that for a second, just from a
Yeah.
practical standpoint. It has
Yeah.
a driver's side airbag and not a passenger.
No, it has passenger. Yeah, I just latched onto the word thorax because
I would have liked if the passenger didn't get in.
right.
Oh,
Yeah,
sorry.
You're too poor for your
Doesn't
wife
matter.
to have crash protection.
yeah, right.
You didn't pay for that option.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah. Ian?
Yes, let's move it on.
Yeah, let's talk about other stuff. Andrew, let's talk about your car history. Let's talk about some of your cars because when we first met you, as we are now legitimate members of the automotive press, yeah,
I'm sorry.
you had just purchased a Saab,
I had purchased a Saab.
a
that
classic
I no
Saab
longer
900.
own.
Yeah. Let's
We've
talk
known each
about
other for that long.
Yeah.
So I'll pick up something fun to kind of play with every once in a while. And
Okay.
by every once in a while, I mean as soon as I sell one, I look for another one. And I'd always wanted a Saab 900.
Yeah.
A classic 900.
Yeah, I'm gonna pull up a picture.
I've had a couple of Saabs in the past. Nothing classic though. I had a GM era 9.3 and a GM era 9.5, which were fine. Nothing exciting, but
That is the exact definition of those cars.
yeah, they were
fine.
They were acceptable.
Right.
They had great engines and
Right.
they were fine. But I always wanted a classic, and so Craigslist is a bad place for me. It's a place I shouldn't go.
Okay. Yeah.
So I go there daily, hourly, if that. And found an 89 900 turbo convertible, red tan interior.
Yeah. It was up on Bring a Trailer, right?
It was on Bring a Trailer. Yeah. Yeah, you should be able to find it.
Yeah.
There's a lot of Saabs on Bring a Trailer. There's
Yeah,
almost always one or two, if not three. There's a
And
96
usually-
wagon right now that's really cool. There was a really nice, I think a 79 900 that was up there for a while.
What years was yours, Andrew?
89.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, so if you just search for 89, it should
Yeah.
pop up.
Ian, talk to him about Saab while I type things on a keyboard.
Was your Saab ownership a pleasant period, or were you like kept up at night like
It
this
was a
thing's gonna
delight.
blow
That's it
up
right
on
there,
me?
Yeah. It was a delight. I really liked that car.
Yeah, that's this one.
I mean, it was a good one. I bought one that had a pretty good service history. It had, it was in good condition. It just needed a few TLC items here
Yeah.
and there. It had if I remember correctly, a relatively new clutch. service records dating back to the early 90s, I
That's
think.
awesome.
Amazing.
It's just I basically detailed it, really cleaned up the interior considerably. I put a dash cover on it.
Yeah, the dash cover. Didn't you pick that up on sale for like $90 or something
like that. Yeah, good memory. Yeah. J.C. Whitney of all places.
Amazing. I wouldn't think that of going
Really,
to them for Saab
It took me
parts.
like 6 minutes to put in. It turned that interior around. I put that in. My fiance comes home and I was like, "Hey, look what I did to the car!" And like her eyes, she was like, "Whoa, look at this! That looks great."
That's awesome.
Yeah, cleaned the carpets, conditioned the leather. I found this leather conditioner. I feel like I'm
Oh yeah, you told us about it.
I feel
forgot.
like I'm
What is
sponsored
it?
by them because I keep bringing this up and I'm not. But I think it's like $15 and it's Griot's Garage, which is that
Yeah.
like Portland or something like that.
I didn't
Real
do
high
that
end
for
stuff.
the
It's called
R.
Leather Rejuvenator, and the stuff is amazing. It took this really dry leather and just made it like not new but soft. Really nice.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I remember when we first talked about this, we were talking about how it's almost we're getting to the point now where you can almost start feeling better about buying an old Saab because no one owns one by accident anymore. Like we're to the point now where all of those have gone to the junkyard.
Absolutely.
And now it's
Yeah.
just people who, for one reason or another,
They are definitely a collectible status. I would totally do another one of these. Like I like to buy a car, play with it, and flip it, and try to make a buck. on it. You know,
Okay.
I'm not. Obviously, this is not a career, but this is. I also don't want to lose money doing this.
Right.
Because you can stick a lot of money into a car
Oh,
and lose a
yeah.
lot of money. But this
Yes.
one, I forget what I made. It wasn't a lot. It certainly, if you put the amount of hours I put into it, I was making $3 an hour or something. But it was fun. I enjoyed it, and came out ahead. And that was the goal.
Nice.
And looking at these pictures makes me all nostalgic because that was a good car.
Nice.
It was a neat little car.
I've never driven a classic 900.
No kidding. Oh,
Yeah.
We should have driven this one.
Yeah.
Too late.
Yeah. Well,
Sucks for you.
it's gone forever.
You can
Get
go
back
to
in your
Philadelphia
van.
where it lives now. I will happily get in my van. The photos on it.
the thing that I loved about that was the eye contact. I will happily get
I
in
like
my
my
van.
the photos. If I could just do a quick shout out to the photographer on this.
Yeah.
He's a friend of mine. He's here in Denver. Nathan Leach Proffer. He's fantastic.
Wow.
And he shot these for me. Bring a trailer. The guys there loved the photos. They said,
Yeah.
"What's the guy's name?" Like they wanted his contact information. Just in case they have people in Denver who have a nice car but are taking shitty photos with their iPhone or whatever.
Yeah.
No, they
I
look
mean, his
great.
photos were
Amazing.
He does a lot of photography for automakers and for some of the auction companies. So like catalog style stuff is what I had him do.
Yeah. Look at
He's
that. That's
fantastic.
perfect.
I mean, his stuff is
Yeah.
the guy is top notch.
Yeah. No kidding. Amazing. Amazing.
We were actually out there taking the pictures like right there, I think, where that one was shot. And this lady comes up and she told me she'd had like a dozen classic 900s.
No
And
way.
she's talking to me about them. She knew them very well. She was really into this one. Yeah, it was really funny.
Did you ask her to make you an offer?
Yeah, I was like, "You want it? Like, you could save me a lot of effort here. Like,
How about you make it 13?
I can fire this idiot right here.
Exactly. I'll pay him half, and I'll yeah." No, she said she was done with them for now.
Okay.
She had kids or something. I forget.
Okay.
That's something that ruins cars.
Right.
That is the best thing about being a Saab owner is the people that come up to you and say,
Oh, man.
"Oh, I used to have one."
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Right?
There's a guy. You've probably seen him right over by the coffee shop, Novo. Is that what it is on 6?
Yeah.
There's a guy over there who's got a green one. I was driving
Yeah.
mine. I parked right by that. I come, right behind him. I come out from having my coffee or whatever, and there's a note under the windshield of my car, and it says, "Hey, I'm the guy who owns the green one. Call me." I was like, "That's weird."
Yeah.
But he had left his address, so I knew which house it was because it was just on the street. So I go up and super nice guy. He had just bought his. He was restoring it.
Oh, okay.
And I just went by maybe 2 weeks ago, and I happened to be driving down that street. I pulled over and I looked at it. He'd had a new top put on, new leather.
Wow.
And the thing was gorgeous.
Oh, I haven't seen
That
it
is-
in a little while.
Oh, you should look at it. Yeah.
Yeah. That's
The-
cool.
Like somebody taking the time to put work into something like this,
Yeah.
it is so rewarding because like this car, like this line right here that starts at the A-pillar and sweeps back into the spoiler,
Yeah.
like that blows my mind every time I see it on the street.
Such an interesting car. It's
Right?
a really interesting design. I mean, I don't really know the history, but if I understand correctly, it was the U.S. office that said, "You guys need a convertible. You guys need a convertible."
Okay.
And Saab in the early
They
80s
didn't
was
wanna
like,
do one,
we
I'm
don't
sure.
have money. I'm sure
Okay.
they wanted to. They're just like, oh, we have, the 900 that is
Right.
our lineup. Like, we are not selling many, and we've developed this 9000. And
Right.
in 1986, they finally come out with it, and I forget exactly, but wasn't it? I might be making this up, but I think it was ASC, American Sunroof Corporation, or whatever, that did the original run of these.
Okay.
I might be getting two cars
Oh,
confused,
wow.
but I think that's it.
Huh.
Wow.
Specifically for the U.S. market.
Interesting. I
And
didn't
it
know
was
that.
it was a hit. That car was boy, what was it? It was like 35,000 or something like that, new in 1989.
Whoa.
So like 60 or 65. I forget exactly.
Yeah.
Well, and it's such a weird car too as a collector car because, like, it wasn't for the age it is to have like the enthusiast community that it has and have people putting that much money into restoring it and everything. Like, it wasn't at the time like that special of a car, right? It
No.
was competing against E30s and
Yeah, totally.
like
Yeah.
it wasn't a crazy exotic car or anything. And I feel like people are putting that sort of money into
Oh yeah.
maintaining them now.
They
Right.
are, and I think that's really interesting because I've thought about what to do next as far as like a fun seasonal car, and I thought about an E30 convertible, and they're just not worth anything.
Yeah,
They're just-
yeah,
A good one is, I don't know, $5,000 for as good as you're gonna get,
right.
and a good 900. A couple of them have sold on Craigslist well into 5 digits. $15,000 for
Right.
a really nice one. Like, it's weird to have a car that's worth more than an E30 that was competitive with it, but
And they made
it's
tons
a
of them.
yeah. Oh,
It's
they
it's
did.
really strange.
I think it's one of those cars that it was expensive new. It was a kind of a lifestyle purchase. People
Right.
picked them up, but
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Cool car. I loved it. I'm all nostalgic now. I want
Yeah.
I'm
You want
gonna back on Craigslist tonight.
So I think the Craigslist thing that I would like to obtain at some point, the thing that I feel compelled to tick is a proper Saab Viggen. Like I just like to me that is peak Saab conflicting with itself, like being so weird but so odd and not adhering to itself, but also by that nature makes it even more Saabish. Does
Mhm.
that make any
Yeah.
sense?
Oh yeah.
Right? Yeah.
I felt like they were speaking out against GM at that point. I mean, that's just my
Okay.
background. I'm like, the Saab folks were like, these people are annoying. Like, our overlords are annoying.
Right.
We're gonna come out with what we want to do. We don't care how much it costs.
Right.
And that was the Viggen. I feel. I like them. I back
they're-
in 1999 when that came out, like
Right.
2000 or whatever the first year of the Viggen was.
Yeah, 99.
Yeah, that's right, because they were all the blue 3-doors then.
Yeah.
Yeah. The
Mhm.
blue 3-doors,
Yeah.
and that's the one.
Oh, yeah, just pulling up the jets.
That's the one I want right there.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly.
That one's pretty cool too.
So I get negative 70 miles to the gallon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just the front intake on that thing.
Oh yeah.
Like that big step bumper.
Yeah.
Oh, the
Yeah.
way that they wrap around trees whenever it's raining.
And the soft wheels, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Those. I have those on Dusty Rusty, my NG 900. Those are nicknamed the paper mache wheels.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they bend so
It
easily.
looks so good. That's
Yeah.
one of the best 5-spoke wheels.
Right?
It's so
Right.
clean.
And I don't like 5-spoke wheels.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan, but I saw those on Craigslist one day, and I was like,
oh yeah.
I need to buy them. I need to plasti dip them vintage gold, and then I need to eventually bend 2 of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Right?
And not eventually. You just did probably.
Right. Yeah.
On
just
the way home.
Yes.
Sitting in the trunk of your car.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
I would love an early Viggen like that. A
Right?
blue 3-door.
Yeah.
All the press cars were European spec and they didn't have sunroofs.
Oh,
So
see,
that's how you
that's
know.
what you want.
That's what I want.
you
Is
want.
like the weird one. And I know as a journalist that press cars are just destroyed, but I still want one.
Yeah.
Right.
Like,
Well, I
yeah.
mean, at this point, you're going to be either undoing a bunch of mods
Yeah.
Yeah.
or restoring it.
Yeah.
So
Good
if you're
ones
going to
are-
be restoring it anyway,
The
Yeah.
other ones are non-existent. My cousin's got a Viggen convertible.
Okay.
And he's a Saab guy. I mean, he's a guy actually who I got the fixing up Saabs from. Like it was him.
Okay.
He's done this for years. He would, he would buy them at like salvage auction and redo them and drive them for a couple seasons and then sell them. But
They're
he's got a
so
big
easy to work
convertible now.
on from that era, like the GM era. Yeah.
Yeah, they really are.
There's not a
Yeah.
lot of moving parts. I mean,
No.
yeah. Typically, the entire Saab is not a moving part.
No.
But
Yeah, you said it. Yeah.
yeah. No, but I mean, like the transverse engine. You open the hood. There's not computers everywhere, and like
No.
there's not insane hoses. Like it's like, yeah. I mean, yeah. I've pulled an engine on one. not that bad.
Yeah, they're pretty simple cars.
Yeah, I did
All
the head
decent too.
gasket on mine. Yeah,
Yeah.
It was all right. It's a
course,
good era.
The
Yeah.
engine is in the wrong direction in the older ones, though. So
It is.
That's a problem.
It is,
Yeah,
but
that-
you can change a clutch in 2 hours.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
Luckily, I didn't have to do that.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
want to.
Right? Yeah. Yeah, these BBSs, these are chrome, but those
Yeah.
were an option on the Vigan later. But yeah. And just about everyone you see nowadays will be missing these. Those
Yeah.
are the jack point covers.
Yeah.
Those always get torn up or warped and fall off, and
You
nobody
just
ever finds them.
You go down to the Saab dealer, you just order a new one.
Exactly.
I don't understand.
Right? Yeah, the parts desk.
Can't be that hard to find one.
What if there was still one Saab parts desk guy?
Yeah. Who
And
like
he-
didn't knew he's just like he's like Milton in the office. And
Yeah,
like,
he has no idea.
yeah.
I think they're going to pay me.
Yeah. And he's just like typing.
I don't know.
What
A
do
bunch
you-
of herring just still comes every once in a while from Sweden, and I get meatballs every once in a while, and that's it.
What do you?
He
Yeah.
actually is sitting in an IKEA, sitting in one of those
Exactly.
living in 75 square feet things. He's
Yeah.
in one of those.
Nice.
They just let him sleep there.
Yeah,
Nice.
They don't
nice.
ask questions.
it's perfect.
Yeah. So run us through some of the other stuff that you've had that you might be nostalgic
So I
over.
just sold, like 2 or 3 weeks ago, I sold my 73 BMW 2002.
Oh yeah,
I've had-
let's talk about that.
So I've had 4 BMW 2002s. Loved them. They're great cars. They're neat cars. This one I've had for 6 or 7 years. I have a lot of memories with, a lot of miles on it, and I just got tired. I was like, I'm done. I've lost interest in it. So I was trying to find a suitor for it. I mean, I didn't want to just stick it on Bring a Trailer or Craigslist or whatever. I wanted to find the right person.
Right.
And so I reached out to a buddy of mine a friend who I made through the 2002 community. It's a really great community of car
Okay.
people. I mean, just the strongest of any group of like car people I've ever been around. I reached out to him. I was like, hey, do you happen to know anybody who's interested in it? And immediately he gets back to me and he says, yeah, this guy Mike in Ohio is interested in it. And so I sent him an email. And his name's not Mike. I'm totally blanking on his name.
That's all right. We don't need to dox
Now
Mike.
I feel like an asshole. Yeah, he says he's interested in one. He's looking for one. And I knew the name, and I think I'd met him at a 2002 event. There's this big gathering they do in Arkansas every year. They get like 60 or 70 cars. It's really cool.
Oh,
they're
cool.
Like,
Okay.
They're like little jelly beans, all these brightly colored.
Yeah,
2002s.
yeah.
So he had one, Jim. I'm sorry, Jim is his name. And so I reach out to him. I say, here's the car. Are you interested? And immediately it's like, yes, I'm interested. Talking to him, it's like, yeah, okay, he's the perfect person for it. We agree on a price.
Okay.
He comes out to Denver, drives it home, and I've gotten a text message from him every 4 or 5 days with something just, an update on the car, like what he's doing with it. It's exactly where I wanted the car to go.
That's
all-
amazing.
That's great.
I've never had a car that I was like, every time I sell a car, I'm like, keep in touch. I want to hear about it. Nobody ever does anything. I never, no other
Right.
car.
But you actually do want to hear
I
about
do
it.
want every
Yeah.
single car I want to hear. I've
Yeah.
never sold a car that's like, just get this off of the property. Like get this away from here.
Yeah. You've obviously never owned a Maserati by Turbo.
I bet there's a story there.
Well, Ian's father has one, and we race one
Well, he
for.
has several, but-
Yeah.
and one is
Wow, I
the
didn't know
chump
that.
car. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
yeah.
did know that. You told me
Yeah.
that. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. But people always tell us the 2 best days of my life were the day I bought it and the day I sold it.
Yeah, totally.
But
yeah.
you didn't feel like that with the 2002.
No, I bought one right out of college for a grant. It was not a good one, as you can imagine.
Yeah.
And I kind of worked my way up to a better one. The one that I had was Sahara beige. It's kind of an uninteresting color. The brown interior. I was actually the second owner of it, or second family.
Holy cow. Okay.
Yeah, the first owner got it new as a graduation gift. He graduated law school at the University of Texas, and the story goes that he drove it immediately to Acapulco and had a fun summer. We'll just leave it at that.
Whoa.
A fun summer. Drove it back home, drove it for 10 years. Something went wrong with it. He parked it. His brother-in-law begged him and was like, I want it. Finally, his brother-in-law gets it from him. His brother-in-law restores it, and I bought it from him in 2009, maybe, something like that.
Wow.
Huh.
And then I just sold it, to the third family, I guess.
Yeah.
for it.
That's
But
amazing.
It's a good one. It's one. It wasn't perfect, but it was one I wanted to go to a good steward. I wanted somebody who was really going to take care of it,
Right.
and that's what I found.
That's
Yeah,
fantastic.
That's great. So when you have these cars, what do you do with them? Because you didn't like modify them
No.
for racing or
Right.
anything like that. So
Yeah.
what do you do with them?
I'm like a purist when it comes to my old cars. I
Yeah.
want them to be as the factory intended.
Okay.
Okay.
Because So I had the engine rebuilt in the 2002, and I'm moderately mechanical, but when it comes to engine rebuild, like,
Sure.
I'm not gonna fuck this up. I'm gonna let somebody who knows what they're doing do it,
Right.
rather than me, sinking $20,000 into a broken engine. So I'm talking to the mechanic, and I found a good guy here in Colorado to do it, a guy who definitely knows the cars, and it was great. But he's like, yeah, we can, put these cams in it, and they'll add some horsepower. And I'm like, okay, well, like, how much are we talking? And he's like, maybe 510. Okay, that's 10% on a car like that.
Right.
100 horsepower car, like that's And I'm like, so how much? And he's like, well, they're probably another $1,000. And it's like, nope, we're not doing that.
Yep.
We're not doing that. Like, that's still going to be a slow car. It's going to be a slightly less slow car.
Right.
Yeah.
So I've had stock wheels, stock tires, hubcaps, 13-inch tires.
Okay.
It looks like the one in the picture. I mean, a different color and different wheels, but I think that actually is Bobby Rahal's.
Okay.
Is that one? I think that might be.
It could be.
He's got one.
That could be.
Yeah. Yep.
Yep, Bobby Rahal.
So funny Bobby
Look at
Rahal.
that. Oh, that's
story.
a TII.
Well, yeah, let's hear it.
So for a few years, for quite a few years, I worked for Left Lane News, leftlanenews.com, and a good buddy of mine, and I worked there, and he's still there, Drew Johnson. He and I were in Las Vegas at SEMA one year, and we're sitting in one of the after parties for the media, and we're sitting there, and we'd had a few drinks at this point.
Okay.
Some like really swanky hotel, like the Vidara or the fancy Vegas hotels. Pick one of those. The Wynn, actually, it was the Wynn. We're sitting at the bar, and we're like, "Is that Bobby Rahal?" We think we see Bobby Rahal.
Okay.
I bet we spent 30 minutes between the two of us, like, "Is that Bobby Rahal? Is that Bobby Rahal?" Like, just sitting there, like, "Well, let's get another drink. Maybe that'll help."
Right.
And we're like, by the end of this night, like, barely standing, like, wobbling back and forth. I think that's Bobby Rahal, and we wouldn't go up to him. Like, we were both afraid to do that. Like, it was Bobby Rahal.
Did you end up talking to him at all?
No, we were too afraid. We were too scared.
Great story,
We
Andrew.
wouldn't do it. Yeah, no Bobby Rahal. Yeah. A lot of drinking, a lot of wobbling, no Bobby Rahal.
That's hilarious.
But he had the 2002 I think it was there at the SEMA show for some reason. I don't
Okay.
know why,
Oh,
but
weird.
I've seen that a few times at various auto shows.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. Look at the turn signal placement. God, you
That's
can't.
such a cool car.
Yeah.
I love it.
So. Yeah.
All right, I want to move it on to. Do you have an FMK?
I have
car,
an FMK cars, right?
Okay, let's do that.
So today when I was driving, I saw a really weird BMW, and I think that what I like about BMW is they're not afraid to do some weird things every now and then, right? I saw while I was driving around, and this FMK cars is just going to be straight up. There's not going to be a twist, anything like that. It's just odd BMWs.
Oh, so many things going through my head right now.
Okay, all right. Is one of the first things that goes through your head the BMW Z8?
I love that car.
I saw one today.
Oh man,
Silver.
never.
I've seen that car. Was it a? What color was the interior? Do you remember?
It was going the other way on
Oh,
I-70, so I did yell, "What color is the engine?"
You didn't turn. If you'd been driving the van, you would have had that amazing turning radius.
Exactly. I could have
Right
just
in the middle of
whipped it,
I-70,
right?
yeah.
So one time my
I can't wait to
in-laws
try
were in So one time my in-laws were in town, and my wife was very excited to go get ice cream, and we went to the Bonnie Bray ice cream place.
Oh,
Down off University, yeah.
Yeah, and there was a Z8 parked in front of the Bonnie Bray,
Oh.
and I interrupted everyone's ice cream, and I made everyone stop so I could lecture them about this the Z8 and this is why it's interesting, and
Did
they were
you-
not
did you
happy
hump
with
the
me.
tailpipe?
I did.
I would have pumped the tailpipe.
It was-
Yeah, I think it's pretty clear which one's going to be my F, but we'll see.
It's one of those cars too that does
w-
not photograph very well, and I
No, it's,
But
yeah.
looks better in person.
absolutely
Such a
Yeah.
good-looking car.
What is this about the tailpipe that I'm missing?
Well, just
just put your penis in it.
Oh.
humping the tailpipe. Yeah. Do you want?
That's it. Show's over.
Do you have a pen and paper so I can draw a picture?
Oh,
We have the blanket fort messaging
we have
system,
a blanket fort messaging
which
system.
It took like 30 seconds before we just started drawing.
You
penises
drew a
on it.
penis on it. There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a
This is
tailpipe.
the highlight of my career right now.
Yeah. Yeah. So BMW Z8. That's the first one, right?
Okay.
Second, BMW Z1.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh yeah. With the slide up doors.
Yeah, that was a weird one, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Still a strange car. I've only seen one or two of those in my life. It's
Yeah.
a weird car.
I don't
Yeah.
think I've ever seen one in person.
I'm trying to think if I've ever seen one in the flesh. I think I may have, but that's yeah. I used to work with this guy. That was like his dream car. I was like, both of you. That was amazing. I'm so glad we have that on video. That was like that was amazing. That was like I had some kind of electric shock that I could hit you both of you just went like it was his dream car.
I could kind of see that working if you were working in like Berlin in 1990.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's really weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, then lastly, this one's I had to go a little bit odd with this one. I don't know if there's going to be a fair use of it, but it's the BMW E30 pickup that they made. They made 2 of them. Yeah, there it is. Is the BMW M3 E30 pickup. So.
That's amazing.
I mean, if you're van man, could you be pickup man? That face is telling me what the K is going to be.
That sounds like Van Man versus Pickup Man. Sounds like a really bad comic book.
Yeah, like it does.
One that we would buy. Like I would buy.
Yeah,
you probably would buy.
Sure.
Nobody else would buy.
No.
Maybe a listener or 2.
Yeah.
Well, that would be all of the listeners. So.
Yeah.
Okay. Both of you would buy.
Yeah. Pickup man versus
built-in
van
market right here.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I would say this is pretty easy. I think.
Okay.
Yeah, know what? I'm going to change everything. I'm going to marry that pickup. That's practical.
Nice.
That's practical.
Nice.
I can use that.
Okay.
I can use that vehicle.
What's your business that you're going to have with that?
Yeah.
I'm going to turn it into a hot tub, the back of it.
A tiny little hot
It's
tub.
going to be an E30 hot tub. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, it's gonna be
Nice.
like it.
Very
Just
small
show up
hot
to
tub.
Grid Life and like everyone
Oh
will flock
God,
to
you
it.
would be the king of Grid Life.
You would win Grid
That
Life.
sounds like a plan. If I could find
Yeah.
a cheap E30, I would do that. A
Yeah.
convertible, they're cheap.
Yeah.
Not the
This
hard tops.
this is a great plan.
This is great. I can't wait. You guys are going to build such a great hot tub M3 pickup. I'm
Yeah.
not
Yes.
doing this. You guys are doing it.
Oh,
okay. We are.
I'm
Yeah.
not it.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
not.
We're all over it, Andrew. We're all over it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's the Mary.
Okay.
I
Okay.
like it.
We're going to kill the Z1.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
With the plastic doors.
I want to like the Z1.
Right.
I had, I'm 34, so that car, was like 1989, so I was 6 or 7. I had a little model of one, which I thought was cool.
Oh,
But
that is cool.
yeah, I had a little green one.
Okay.
I don't know where that is. I just cleaned out my parents' attic, and I figured it would be there.
Yeah, they
Um,
eBayed it.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
did. They would,
Yeah.
they would do that. Yeah, that car just, I don't know.
Yeah,
It's
one of those things where weird does not cross into cool.
No,
Right?
No, that's like the. I mean,
Yeah.
that's sort of the evolution of the Izetta in my eyes in terms
Yeah.
of dorkiness.
Yeah, right?
Just no, that doesn't work for me.
Yeah.
Those doors were the answer to the question nobody was asking.
You're exactly right.
I think it's because I think Germans, when they do weird, it's just weird.
Yeah.
it is.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Right?
When Sweden does weird, it's awesome.
Yeah,
and you
it's
get
crazy.
Yeah, right?
Because it's dark half the year, and so they've got to like come up with something to do.
Yeah.
Right.
Not an
or
issue in
or
Germany.
when Italy does weird, it becomes like sexy and cool.
Right. When
That's totally
Iceland does weird, you get Bjork.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. When Germany does weird, you get poop porn. Just weird.
Yeah,
we're just going to
weird.
let that rest.
Yeah.
So you're going to F the BMW Z8 then?
Totally. That's
Yeah.
just
What would
such
you do in a
gorgeous car.
Z8 for a day?
Well, so I had, and this isn't an answer to your question because I'm not listening to you.
That's
But,
perfectly fine. No one else is.
When I was in
No one
college-
else is, Andrew.
When I was in college, I went to Indiana University. It's a small town in Indiana, not like a hot spot of supercars by any means.
Right.
I'm sure there's probably a Ferrari registered somewhere in the state. I don't know. It's probably a Fiero that somebody thinks is a Ferrari. But
Right.
anyway,
Yeah.
in this small town in Indiana, there was a professor who had a Z8.
Okay.
It's a
And-
well-paid professor.
Well paid, yeah. My tuition was doing something.
Yeah.
I would see him at the bank that I would go to. That's just for whatever reason. I guess when you have a Z8, you have a lot of money, or you don't have a lot of money, one or the other.
Right.
Yeah.
So you're visiting a bank a lot. But I would see this silver with a black interior Z8, and it was like a beater almost. And this wasn't like,
Oh, no way.
the car was relatively new then.
He was
This
kinda just running it down,
what,
huh?
12, 15 years ago. Yeah, it was just like kind of a beater, and it was kind of like, that's awesome, man. Like, that's
Like a daily,
kind of cool.
like the polish
Yeah.
is off.
Yeah,
Like,
it just was like a little rough. It was always a little
Somebody was
dirty.
dailying a Z8.
A
Someone was
Z8.
barely affording a Z8.
barely
like,
affording dating
that's
a Z8
fascinating.
in Indiana.
that is
Yeah.
that is pretty without makeup. Like that is I like
Exactly.
that.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
suddenly I kind of want to marry that one.
I mean,
But
he's-
no, I still want to. Yeah,
I mean,
I'll
that
still
guy was an idiot, right?
totally
I mean,
did, yeah.
because those things
You know what? He wasn't an idiot because those I don't think ever depreciated. Did they ever get?
they've
to be
appreciated, right?
Yeah.
They're worth more now than they
I don't
than
think
they
they were
were
ever
new.
worth less.
Yeah.
I think the day you bought it, it just. Right
But
on.
I don't think I've never seen a high mileage one either.
I think actually there's some out there. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
Huh.
curious to
There's
know
a
what a high mileage
Fairly
Z8
active
is.
Z8 club, from what I understand.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Because every once in a while, I'm like,
Just
oh,
si-
Z8s are going to be worth nothing by now. No, they're not.
Right.
They're-
ZA Club, just 7 white dudes.
Yeah.
Just,
They shop at Brooks Brothers.
yep. Some Crosby, Stills, and Nash playing in the background. Yep.
Their
Yep.
club meetings are at like a cigar bar.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Right? Yeah. Yeah. You should get.
They
you
just
should,
meet at the Jimmy Buffett concert.
You
Yeah.
should get the highest mileage one you can find and just crash the club. Yeah.
Pull up and be like,
Yeah.
hey, what of it?
Who
Yeah.
wants to
Yeah.
rip bong hits?
Yeah, rap music going.
You guys like Liquid Swords, right? Big RZA fans, right? Where are you going?
Is this the right club?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, right.
That's the Scion TC club. Oh.
Yes, yes.
Exactly.
I like your grid life winning E30 pickup. That would be
Yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well done, Andrew. Ian, what would you do?
I think I would steal your hot tub grid life idea and do that for a day, and that marry the Z8.
Right.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah. The Z1 being added to this was it was kind of a losing battle.
Yeah.
So I was at the Infinity dealer today, dropping my car off for service, and this is a story for another time. But I was talking to the guy, like checking me in and everything, and I had mentioned that I had a Saab before, the Infinity, and I said, yeah, it just like they really tried to convince people that weird and cool were the same thing,
Mm-hmm.
right? And it just like with Saab it lands, like like we were talking about.
Yeah.
This This is I hate to keep going back to the uncanny valley, but this is the uncanny valley of cool, like
Yeah.
right?
Well, okay, so the Mercedes van, to go back to that, is weird. I would argue that it's cool,
Yeah.
but
It would
they
be.
weren't trying to do weird there.
Right.
It just ended up that way.
Yeah, I love that car, and I can't explain why, because it's really not particularly good at anything other than the fact that you can put some suitcases behind the third row.
Yeah.
Is it the mystery of the van? Like, are you trying to solve this Tetris puzzle that is this
Yeah.
van? Like, it's not the Z piece. It's not that other Z
Yeah.
piece. Right?
There's got to be a place where it fits. You're
Right?
exactly right. And I don't know. Metris Tetris, I get it.
Yeah.
I don't.
Boom.
know.
Nailed it. Hashtag Metris
Metris
Tetris.
Oh wow.
Uh-oh.
I want to see if that's actually nobody's ever. Yeah, nobody's ever
Right.
say that. Yeah, I like it. I just don't know why. It's so
Yeah.
not good at most things.
People have described me the same way. It's all right. It's okay. You know?
We've talked a lot before about how we need badges
Yes.
that enable us
Yeah, let's get into this.
to
Let's
go
get into
up
this.
to people.
I want to go down this rabbit hole.
I
I'm-
told the story when we talked to Doug a couple weeks ago about how I almost caused an accident because I saw a Honda Accord Cross Tour in my rearview mirror, and I was just staring at it, thinking like, why do you own that?
Yeah, why
Like,
did
what
you?
what life choices led you to that lot on that day?
Right.
I always think of the cars that people stepped over to get to that.
Yeah,
Right. Yeah.
right. Like-
Yeah. That's exactly it.
Like
And-
the
and-
Cross Tour, there was an Outback. No, that's too.
And so with the Metris, like it is
Yeah.
cool, but why do you walk past the
Yeah.
transit
Yeah,
to get to the Metris?
I don't
Yeah.
get it. I just
Look at that booty on the cross tour.
look at that, but
It's-
Yeah.
I saw one on the way here again today.
I saw one today in maroon, and I was like, you know what? I kind of like it.
It's amazing. I see one of those all the time.
Yeah. Yeah. They sold a bunch of them.
I think that, and it's probably the same case with the Tetris Metris. It's sold on its badge. I mean,
Yeah,
people said
yeah.
Honda, and they said, all right, they're Honda loyalists. They buy Hondas. That's what they do. And fine, they're good cars.
Yeah.
No problem with Hondas.
right.
That new Accord looks kind of weird, but I'm sure it's going to be fantastic.
Right.
That's the same thing with this. I mean, I drove a Cross Tour. It's actually drove great. It was just hideous and didn't solve anything.
Right.
Yeah.
And the Metris, we were kind of talking about this before, but the Metris to me is as much as an asset as a liability to have that Mercedes badge. I mean,
Yeah.
depending on your business, a lot of businesses, it's like, yeah, I want the Mercedes.
Right.
I want to look,
Right.
the upscale image. I am
Right.
a fancy flower delivery or whatever.
Mhm.
And a lot of them, it's going to be like, no, I need the Ford because I'm
Right.
a plumber.
Right. Exactly.
Right, yeah.
I don't want them to think I'm, charging too much.
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
Yeah, the Cross Tour I feel like was very successful at proving that a Honda Accord wagon would be good. Like
Yeah.
it would be better if it was just a wagon
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
and
Yeah.
not raised up and all
They
that.
did the wagon.
Yeah. They
Remember that?
used to have a wagon.
couple
Right, but not with
Yeah.
this. They haven't done
Right.
that for a long time.
What they
Right.
needed to do was do the Toyota Camry with the 2 windshield wipers in the back. Remember that?
Yeah, the
Like the
big ass
mid-nineties
Toyota Camry
Yeah.
wagon. Yeah.
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 Tetris Metris has 2 wipers.
They
Yep,
do well. Yeah,
one on
the
each
two,
side.
two
Yeah.
doors. Yeah.
That's the success. That's right there.
Yep, that's
The
right.
more wipers, the better.
If your review doesn't include a picture of those rear door panels
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
and
Yeah,
then
the
the
melamine panels.
carpet right next to it.
Yeah.
Which
so
is so
bizarre.
strange.
Like,
Right.
beautiful carpet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's one panel in the whole interior that's carpeted, and
One.
it's in the very, very back of the car, and I think
Right.
there's a vent for like the amplifier or something for the stereo back
Something,
there.
yeah.
And the door panel on the rear doors is like just like sheeting that you would put in a shelf or something.
Right.
Like the back of a shelf. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you would use that to establish your
Melamine.
shanty town. Yeah, yeah, like melamine. Yeah, is the
Yeah.
closest material I can think of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
very
probably toxic, whatever
Oh,
that is. But
100%. And that smell in the
Oh,
car,
man.
that is new smell plus just all of Chinese rubber killing you.
Oh, totally.
Yeah, yeah.
And it also smells like me.
Yeah. Oh,
'Cause
okay.
I put 18 miles on it before I
Ew,
came in.
Nice,
18,
nice.
18 hard miles.
Yeah.
Hard.
Van Man
Yeah.
Miles.
Urban miles.
Van Man has a musk.
Yeah. I'm done showering. At least until I
Yeah.
return it. I'm done showering.
Van
until
Man.
Yeah.
Until they get it back.
So what are some other things that like just you see that you just completely baffle you that people have purchased or, you know,
Like if you could be licensed to get answers for like
Right.
let's say 1 or 2 different cars,
Right.
and you could get the life story of anyone
I
driving that car.
I can
Boy,
give
that's
you
a
a
good question.
quick
Yeah, give me an
example.
example, yeah.
One of mine is used BMW 740 Li's with temp tags. Right? And it's
Yeah,
not
that's a thing.
it's
That is
not
a
so
thing.
much that I want to know why
No,
because I
you don't.
know why. They
Yeah.
thought they could get away with it.
Yeah.
They thought they could get away with it.
That one
I
isn't
want-
why. It's who do you think you are?
Exactly. You think you can fly that close to the sun? Yeah.
That's a good one for Doug because Doug is so into license plates. Doug Demiro.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I don't understand the temp thing. Like, can you just keep getting temp tags on cars? Like, I
Well,
see
no, I think
so
people
many
are
hoopties with
just
temp tags.
buying these.
Yeah. They've
It's just
they've
that
just
many people
bought
who
it.
are just constantly buying hoopties.
Yes.
Yeah,
Well-
they just traded in for another one.
I think
It's a
part of
thing.
it
It's
might
not just
be,
here, it's everywhere.
and I part of it might be that you do see those on, like if you go on, in for another Denver reference on West Colfax at the buy here, pay here
Yeah,
places.
Yeah.
You see those 7 Series and those
yeah.
S classes out there,
Yeah.
and I bet those places are selling that car 8 times a year,
yeah.
Yeah, probably.
and just repoing
That's
them.
gotta be. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
that's the,
the
only.
Carfax is going to be great on those things.
Oh yeah.
Well, but that's
Although
the
they
thing.
never register it, so
They don't. Yeah.
yeah.
So that's their business
Yeah.
model of those buy here, pay here places.
totally, yeah.
Is that they repo them before they get registered, so they
Yeah.
can claim clean Carfax, and it's been repoed 20 times.
Exactly, right? There's been 17 varieties of meth cooked inside of it.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly.
yeah, under
Yeah.
the dealer's possession for
Right.
7 years. But yeah,
Right.
it smells terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had my mechanic years ago for one of my 2002s worked at one of those buy here, pay here lots. That was like his primary business, and he said it was just whatever they could do to keep the car running for a couple of weeks, and that was it.
Oh wow.
And he said finally, like his morals, he just couldn't do it anymore.
Yeah.
He's like, I just can't.
He's just
I can't."
preying
Like,
on people.
He's like,
Yeah.
this is just wrong. He's like, I'm out of here.
That's
Yeah.
too
I'm trying to
bad.
think though of cars that I look at and it's like, why did you buy that? And I'm just drawing a blank. Like
Hmm.
that's a really good question because I do that in traffic. It's like, how did you end up there?
I hate
You
to.
know?
Ian, we promised we wouldn't bring it up.
This is a swear jar one, isn't it?
I think so.
Nissan Cabriolet Cross Tour or Cross
Oh,
Cabriolet.
No. I was
No?
thinking of something
I
else.
thought you were just gonna say Nissan.
the entire brand is what I'm thinking.
He
of.
is. Yes.
Which,
No, Lincoln.
Oh, we did say we weren't going to bring that up.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
I thought you were going to talk about Nissan as an entire brand because
Well,
There's that too. Yeah.
I don't want to throw Nissan under the bus or anything, but
They got rid of the one I wanted, which was a Quest.
yeah, the Quest is gone.
Yeah.
Nobody went down that Quest, and
Andrew.
that didn't work. Yeah, that didn't work. That's not as good as Metris Tetris.
That right there is foreshadowing for an FMK cars for you, mister.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yep.
All right.
But that's for another time. But
yeah, we drove a Quest from Denver to Road America for a Chump Car race,
Oh,
Yep.
and that was
because we had to
entertaining.
haul back a dresser.
and you rented it
Yep.
Yes,
because that's where the Nissans go.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And we loved it. Like,
Don't
for
say the name of
real.
the rental car company because I would like to continue renting from them.
Oh, it's all
Yeah.
of them.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I went out to the airport the other day to pick up my fiance who was flying home, and the Nissan Sentra is parked into the Hertz
Yeah.
thing. I was just driving by that. I was like, oh my God, that's where all the Sentras went.
Yep.
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 Yeah, they're
Yeah.
terrible.
Just
They're
they're all
awful.
there. That's all.
Yeah.
Nobody buys them. They're all going to the.
Uh,
Anyway, that's
Yeah.
me. Yeah.
No
but
more Nissan press cars for Andrew.
Yeah, I'm done. Cut off.
We've gotten you blacklisted from several makes.
Yeah.
fine.
Productive show.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. Do we want to talk about Lincoln and like why anybody would buy it, or
Let's move it on. Let's move it on because I want to get to the Trabant story.
Yes, let's do this.
Okay, so you have an article up on Motor Authority
That's correct. Yeah.
on your experience driving a Trabant recently.
Yeah. So we were on vacation in Budapest, which is an awesome place. Anybody who's going to go to Eastern Europe, Budapest is incredible. Absolutely loved it. And I was like looking at things to do ahead of time. I was like, tours of Budapest, and like, what do you do? And somewhere like high in search was Trabant tour of Budapest. Like, obviously, we're going to do that.
Yeah.
Right.
And so I make a reservation.
Smash cut to your fiance going, yeah, obviously, great.
Totally. She's 2 zip codes over, and she's rolling her eyes right now.
Right.
Yeah, so I make the reservation. We get there. They're going to pick us up. It was our last full day, which was kind of a bummer. Like, I wanted it to be one of the first things we do because, it's a tour. But
Right.
it just was timing. So we get there. We're sitting out having breakfast in front of the hotel, and I hear it coming. Put, 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 put. And then I smell it
Yes.
coming. And then I see it. And it's
Yeah.
a
And then you got lung cancer
and
from
then I
it
got
coming
lung
towards
cancer.
you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I died. I came back to life. A poop brown Trabant, just like the one in the picture, except for poop brown.
I'm gonna see. I'm gonna see if I can pull up your article. Yeah.
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 Because I did actually take some photos.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was actually our tour guide was the owner of the Trabant itself, and she took us to Memento Park, which in Budapest is, yeah, that's it right there. I wonder who that other guy, that picture. That
Yeah.
looked like me. Boy, that's a bad picture.
Just see if you can pull up-
Anyway,
just pull up the
I'll
whole
just
article,
I'll just keep
yeah.
I'll just keep babbling. So she takes us to Memento Park, which is where they put all of the communist era statues. So you've got like big statues of Lenin, big statues, of all the communist leaders sitting right there, and we're in the Trabant, and it was like the most surreal experience. And so initially it's just her driving us around, and we'd revealed pretty early that I'm like really into cars, and like this is kind of what I do. And she was like, "Do you want to drive it?" And I was like, "Well, yeah."
Yeah.
And I'm thinking I'm gonna get to like drive it around the parking lot or whatever. But so she hands me the keys as we're leaving Memento Park, and we go to the Trabant, and it won't start. And it turns out she left the lights on, which still is pretty amazing. We were in there for like 30 minutes, and that drained the battery because it's a 6-volt battery or whatever.
Right.
So we pop start the car, rolling it down a hill with her in the in the driver's seat. This taxi driver like comes running over to us to help us. This old Hungarian guy. It was just like it was out of a movie. This kind of a thing. Like all of us
Wow.
pushing this Trabant. It coughs this cloud of blue smoke right into my face as we're pushing it.
And
It was-
Yakety Sax is playing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Totally. Yeah, Mindy, my fiance, I don't think she understood like how deep that moment was for me.
Right.
She's just like, really, we're doing this?
Like
And
this
it's
shitty car broke down, and you're just like,
Like,
the
it's the best
shitty
thing
car
ever!"
broke down.
Shitty poop brown car broke down and it's coughing blue smoke in my face. I love it. So I get to drive the thing, and again, I'm thinking like I'm gonna get a lap around like the neighborhood or whatever.
Right.
And we do a lap, and our tour guide Judith was her name. She looks at Mindy and she says, do you trust Andrew's driving? And Mindy was like, yeah, I do. And I was like, well, that's a weird question to ask, but okay. And so Judith is like, okay, well, drive us back to Budapest. I'm like, okay. We're like 20 kilometers out of town.
Whoa.
So, 10,
okay.
12 miles, something like that. So I drove it back all the way in traffic, like all kinds of different roads. The highlight for me was we're in traffic and this old Skoda pulls right in front of us.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just this like Eastern European moment.
Yeah.
You know, this two communist era cars just following each other.
That's awesome.
It's a terrible car.
Yeah, I mean, so how did it drive? Like, I mean, I know
Awful.
terrible is the word, but like,
You know,
what was it?
awful, but it's an interesting comparison because this one I drove was an 82 or 83 or something like that. But you know, came out in the late 60s. I forget exactly, but so same era as my BMW, my 2002. Different side of Germany. Obviously.
Right.
Really interesting comparison to me in that they're kind of like
yeah.
dimensionally not that different. The BMW is a little bigger, but the BMW was, you know, a modern car. It still drives like a modern car. This one was very good at driving over cobblestones because there's a lot of travel through the suspension. Because Eastern Europe didn't really have roads. Like there wasn't a thing they were doing. But as far as like the steering, just awful. The 4-speed on the column, just terrible. I mean, truly, everything about it was bad. It was a bad car. It's a terrible vehicle, and yet it was awesome. Really cool. I mean, you guys understand. Your listeners understand.
Yeah.
Nobody else. I've tried to explain it to people who aren't into cars, and they're like, "Why did you do that?
Right.
Why did you go drive a shitty old car around? You know, or why did you do that? Why didn't you just take like a bus tour?"
Is it like the equivalent of like that? Like, I'm trying to think of a parallel where like something just so like the worst.
The room
greasy,
of cars, right?
Like the worst.
The what of cars?
The room.
Yeah.
Like the worst greasy Waffle House cheeseburger at like 3 a.m.
Yep. Satisfying.
Okay.
Truly a satisfyingly terrible car.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's so good at what it needed to do. It needed to be something. So she was telling us that the waiting list to buy that car, so you would put half down on the thing. And I don't know.
Yeah, that's right. Okay.
I don't know how much. I this is a number that I had when I was researching, and I don't remember, but however much it was a lot. So you saved up for years because this was, you know, communist Eastern Europe. You weren't like drawing a paycheck. So you would save up, you'd put half down, you would wait 5 years, and then you would get a call that your Trabant was in.
Okay.
Or whatever.
Okay.
And you weren't like, oh, I'm.
If you were still alive.
If you were still alive, yeah. Or if your like family was still alive and
Right.
your neighbors hadn't reported you to the Gestapo and you were now in, you know,
The Stasi at that point.
Yeah.
Because they're Eastern Europe, right?
Yeah.
Or Eastern Europe, Eastern Germany. Yeah.
Well, well, this was Hungary, but yeah. So Hungary didn't produce cars. Hungary produced like heavy equipment.
Mm-hmm.
So they didn't. So they would get their cars from from East Germany.
Mm-hmm.
So they were kind of like bottom of the food chain.
Wow.
So
Gotcha.
they would last
Okay.
to get them. Like somebody in Berlin might get it, 3 years later, and somebody in Budapest was 5 years later.
So I will say that process that you just described does mean that it was bad at the only thing it was supposed to do, because it was supposed to just be, stamped out.
Yeah.
Right.
Efficient,
Oh, yeah.
like cars for the people.
Right.
But it was a failure in that because
They didn't have.
they had to wait for 5 years.
Yeah. I mean, behind the Iron Curtain, they didn't have the supplies to do this. They didn't have the steel,
Which is why it was fiberglass, right?
Yeah. It's sort of like a fiberglass, like a.
But
a
more
recycled
cancerous.
material.
Yeah.
Well, they had to develop after the Berlin Wall fell, after the Iron Curtain dropped. They had to figure out how to get rid of these cars because nobody wanted them.
Right.
How
Right.
to dispose of them in a reasonable way, because you couldn't just like let them, go. You had to like properly dispose of them. So the factory came up with a process to dispose of the bodies of them. This like specific way of shredding and disposing of the bodies, and they reuse them in, I think it's a concrete in Germany.
That makes sense.
So a lot of German concrete apparently is made up of old Trabants.
Interesting. That's really cool.
Terrible car.
Yeah. So
the best.
Yeah, the best terrible car.
it does bring me to another FMK cars, though.
Okay.
Because
really, jeez.
it is one of the interesting things about that car is that it's two-stroke.
It is.
Correct?
Yes.
Yeah. So the oil and the gas are mixed and blah blah blah. So this one is straight up. There's no twist to it. There's no like sumo wrestlers or any shit. This is just the cars.
Okay.
This one's called, you know me, baby. It only takes two strokes. These are other two-stroke cars.
So there's going to be a Saab in here. Yeah.
There will be one Saab, and
Okay.
we'll get to it right away.
Okay.
The Saab Sport, based on the Saab 96.
Yes.
Yep. Look at that.
So
Pretty.
so pretty.
Amazing.
Right?
Yep.
The next one, the Berkeley T60.
Oh yeah, we got to find this one. BERK
ELEY
T60.
T60.
Oh,
So Berkeley was a small British company.
Yeah, I've heard. Oh yeah, that
the three-wheeler.
The three-wheeler.
Look at it.
Oh, it's something.
Look at that thing.
That is a car.
Yeah,
That's not even a car. That is a tricycle.
thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
That is a
Yep,
tricycle.
they had some other really cool looking
yeah,
cars.
yeah.
Oh, I'm sure.
Um,
Clearly from that design studio, they were.
But they honestly do. They had
Look
one
at
that
this
looked
one.
was really cool looking. But we're gonna go with the T60.
Yeah.
That guy
And,
is so
and
proud of that.
you
car.
get that guy with it.
Yeah. Camo pants and everything.
Yeah. it's
Okay,
great.
and then this one, which is just putting thumbs on the scale here a little bit, the DKW Monza. You ever seen one of these?
Yeah. I think so. I know DKW. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Oh, boy, this is.
Oh, look at its face. I want to hug it.
That
It's like a
is-
little guppy.
It's so that I
That
mean,
you
there's a
can
like a
get
little
in.
there's a little like AC
There's a curvaceous little thing there.
Yeah.
Cobra in there, and then there's a little bit
Boy,
of
that rear fender, the way that
Yeah.
window line tapers back.
Right?
go to the rear 3/4 view.
Yeah.
on-
Okay, there we go. Yeah.
Look at
yeah,
that.
Look at that. Look at that curved.
Amazing.
It's almost got a Mazda look to it, like a
Yeah,
Mazda
right? Like a
kinda
Cosmo.
look.
Yeah. Yeah.
A little bit of that.
Yep,
which, you know,
exactly.
there's a clear
Those
connection.
taillights for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Boy, I've seen pictures. I've never seen one.
Yeah. Amazing.
Because that's the one. That's it.
Yeah,
Like,
that-
that's the
I
one.
I think there's
probably-
like seriously like two of them or something.
Yeah.
There's not many.
Yeah. All right,
But
so
look at
go
that
through these again.
greenhouse.
So I got
It's
the
so crazy.
Berkeley, I got the DKW, and I forgot the other one.
The
The Saab
Saab.
Sport. Yeah.
Oh boy, this one's tough.
right?
Because obviously you're gonna marry the Berkeley. I mean, you got to, right?
No, the Berkeley's dead.
With camo pants here?
Yeah.
Aw.
If camo pants wasn't included,
I knew I should have done the prettier Berkeley.
Yeah. Oh, here. Do you want to
that
call an
thing is
audible,
just,
Ian?
That's just awful. That's
Yeah,
like
let's
the-
do the audible. Let's go with the. They have one called the Foursome, but let's go with the Sports SE 328.
Okay. Wow. I don't know
That's a
why
great
that
name.
name didn't catch on.
Yeah,
Look at that.
So they kept. The,
it's kind of cool looking. I
They
think.
kept the front clip and just put two more wheels in the
Ye-
back.
Yep.
Basically.
Yep.
It's not
Well,
good
the-
looking.
I
No?
think it's kind of cool looking.
Look at where that license plate is down there.
I
That-
love it.
Well,
I love it.
That's
That's
so
an afterthought.
squared off. Yeah, but you
There's
have to
another
have it.
picture from Wikipedia that doesn't have
I
the
would
license
take all
plate.
of the cars in the back.
I
of
was
that
just
photo.
going to ask you if you'd rather have the MR2 that we can
Oh,
barely see,
yes.
the Jag,
Yes.
or the 3 Series wagon.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
No,
All-
that's
everything,
a,
yes.
that's
Every-
an X5, Ian.
Oh, is it?
No, it's
Yeah.
a 3 Series.
Yeah, 3 Series.
Yeah, it's
I'm
a-
going to
yeah.
X5 on that one.
E92, I think.
Yeah, I think that's a 3 Series wagon. I think it just looks enormous because it's around
Yeah.
old cars.
Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah, it's an
Yeah.
E90. E90.
But it's like an
Okay.
E94 or whatever the code
God,
was.
I was just
'cause
I'm
the
totally
E90
blanking on those. Yeah.
E92 was the coupe. The
Yeah, so it was
E90
E90
was
yeah.
the sedan.
I'm trying to think what the wagon was.
I don't know.
I don't know. I'm so
And
glad I don't know
everyone
that.
listening to the
Yeah.
podcast fell asleep.
Yeah.
You're so relieved you
People
don't
who
know
people who
that.
speak in BMW code. It's like,
Right?
come on, man. Like, there's
Yeah.
more life here.
It's like that one guy you
I
knew
say that as
could-
somebody who's staring at a whatever the Auto Union Monza right now. But
Yeah.
yeah, it was just okay. So the Berkeley's dead.
That means Saab and DKW.
Yeah, I'm gonna marry the Saab because that seems like it's a roomy, like that's a practical, like that's a good choice,
Right.
and it's a good looking kind of interesting car. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
that's a cool car. I like
For
those.
real, yeah.
That's a 2-stroke Saab is a bucket list car that I'll probably never have because I'm smarter than that, I think. But
We'll see. We'll
here
see.
comes Craigslist.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So we'll fuck the Monza.
The Monza. Yeah.
couldn't think of its name.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
It-
I mean, weird, but
Yeah.
it's so
it's kind of
pretty.
like 3 beers, and then you're like, okay, that works. 6 beers.
Ian, would you marry the Berkeley?
No, I'd marry the Monza.
Okay.
It's just so pretty. I love the way that
Yeah.
thing looks.
What about that guy?
What's his shirt?
What's
say?
this say?
Metris?
Does this shirt say Metris? No way.
Oh,
We can't be
And-
that.
And nerds.
nerds. That seems right.
Yep.
Yep,
Yeah.
that seems right.
Yep. That's
hilarious.
us sounding out words on the podcast.
I think that thing looks just.
That's
the
He's a
amazing.
good looking.
It almost a little Jag E type in the back too.
Yeah.
I saw one of those today. Yeah. So I saw a Z8 and a Jag, the V12E coupe,
Oh,
a
wow.
hardtop.
Wow.
Yeah. It's a light yellow one. I don't know if you've ever seen it. It's the second time I've seen this one.
Weird.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's great.
I'm surprised it hadn't caught fire.
How long are we right now?
Very.
Oh, should we wrap it up?
We can. Why? We can keep going. It's up to you guys. I don't care.
Okay. Well,
I'm going to pass out for a minute. Just take a little hot 5 nap. Yeah.
I've taken like 3 of those.
Yeah. Yeah.
You guys didn't notice?
so if all of our listeners, it's fine.
Yeah. Just vignettes.
Let's wrap up with one last thing. So you told a story when we were getting started, when we were getting set up, that you had a landline phone when you
let's talk about this.
kind of earlier in your automotive
this
journalism.
is kind of digging back into the deepest part of my brain here. But yeah, when I first started in the automotive journalism world, I mean, my name is a byline, and I'm not famous by any means, but it's there with every article, of course.
And it's not like Bob Smith.
Yeah, it's a specific name.
Yeah.
So I'm not hard to find. There's a few of us with my name. I mean, you saw a picture of one earlier when you were Googling it. Which actually, there's a guy in San Diego who I think is a realtor, something like that. And his email and my email are very similar, and he somehow figured mine out and will occasionally forward an email, which is kind of funny.
That's nice.
He seems like a nice guy. But yeah, so the landline. So I would, I moved into a new house, and had one of those bundle deals with your internet and your cable, and they're like, "We'll throw in a landline." I'm like, "Fine, whatever, throw in a landline."
Sign me up for AOL too. I don't give a shit.
I keep those CDs; they're great.
Yeah.
So I get the landline. I go buy a phone. I never use it. Like I use it to order food and like pizza or whatever. That's it. And I start getting phone calls on it, and it's from readers. And it's not from the same guy. It's from a few people. I probably got 5 or 6 of those.
That's insane.
People who called and were just like, and most of them were actually fairly reasonable, but it's like, you went through the effort of finding my phone number. I mean, I was working for Left Lane at the time, and our email was not obvious. I mean, it was, if you figured it out, it was obvious, but it wasn't like you clicked on my name or something and it sent me an email. It's just you had to,
you had to know the formula.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It wasn't there.
So was it like this motherfucker recommended the SE model, and I wish I had gotten the SEL model?
I remember getting one irate guy, not irate, but just like questioning everything that I said, and I finally that was actually the last straw, and I just I remember hanging up with him, just trying to get off the phone. I think I might have actually just hung up on the guy. He didn't call back.
Yeah,
because I think most people are reasonable enough. I think even the people who are creepy enough to look you up on white pages and call you are reasonable enough to know that like you crossed a line. Like, you don't call me at home, buddy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they, after that conversation, it was like, all right, that's it. The phone is done.
Sure,
we're
sure.
the phone. I'm not keeping this phone. Yeah, it was weird. It was very unpleasant.
There is a trait that some people have with their personalities. I'm sure we all have friends like this, where if you give your friend a piece of information about, like, say, a laptop or a phone or a car, then you are the person that is accountable for answering every single question related to that thing for the rest of time.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, totally.
And so, like, as someone who publishes articles, I can see that certain personality type, like, having that, Andrew's the one that told me about this. Yeah. Like, I have questions. Andrew's the one that's going to be providing answers.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah, and with Car Connection, I mean, we rank pretty high on search. You Google, I don't know, Mazda 5, well, that's dead. Mazda CX-5 review or whatever. We'll be one of the first to pop up. So we do get a lot of reader mail, and a lot of it, frankly, is correcting us. And a lot of times,
actually,
well, what I love is when somebody corrects, and yes, we make mistakes, totally. That happens. We have a good editing process. That happens. Mistakes happen. But I love it when somebody corrects, and it's like, no, you're actually wrong. Whatever the correction is, it's like, no, you're wrong.
Okay,
we were actually right. But we'll get emails, and it'll be I'll sometimes have 4 or 5 emails back and forth just trying to help somebody buy a car. I just had somebody was asking about a Forester, because we do a rating system, and for the safety of it, there was it was the IIHS had changed something. It was Top Safety Pick Plus, now it's Top Safety Pick, whatever. So we needed to revise that number. We hadn't. And so this guy and I went back and forth probably 5 or 6 emails earlier this week about what crossover he should buy. And I think he bought a Forester. I don't know. He was going to. So that's great. Like, I'm helping the guy, that's fine with me.
Sure.
But calling me at home, that's a different story.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So all of your listeners should waitpages.com and
Right.
just come visit the house, because I don't have, no, if you come visit me, don't visit me.
Yeah.
Visit me. Yeah.
Right?
I'm a van man. You'll have to
Yeah.
find me.
Yeah, that's right. That's why you're a moving
I'm a
target
van
now,
man.
van man.
Down
Yeah.
by the Platte River.
Yeah. Catch me. Catch me.
Well, like the modern equivalent of calling you at home now is the or doing it is the reaching out via comments on the website. And I do feel like we've talked about this before, but like the automotive comment sections are not as, because you go to Cars and Coffee, or you go to a racing event, or you go to any sort of car show, and
the
people,
Toyota Prius forums,
and people are always so nice. Like I'm always struck by how nice people are, versus like just how awful all comment sections are on automotive websites.
It's just that being able to hide behind your keyboard.
Yeah, you think that's all it is?
Oh, I think that's it. Yeah. I mean, I think people are tough guys behind their keyboard, and that's why I actually really like engaging with our readers. When they send an email, I really enjoy the back and forth. It's because the Forrester one, I don't remember the guy's name, so I'm not going to throw him under the bus or anything, but the tone of the email, is the way I read it, was, you're wrong, you need to fix this. And then this back and forth, it's like, oh wait, we can have a conversation about this.
Right.
Normal, we can have a back and forth and interact like humans.
Yeah.
Huh. Weird. You'll have to try it sometime, Ian.
I don't care for it.
Not a fan. Ian is someone who wallows in comments. He gets in. If there's a page that has a comment section, he reads it.
Like a local news story?
No.
I got to go in.
Those are bad.
I've got to.
It's like my brain has ad block for comments. Except for articles about like the Venture Brothers, or that's about it. Yeah.
I love how it just goes straight into politics every time.
Yeah.
It's like we'll do a story and like, there's a new Nissan Rogue, with a special edition or whatever, and it's just like, well, that's because of Trump.
Oh boy.
I will go get myself. I will go get myself like another cup of coffee and be like, here we go, and just get in there.
What you need is a kitchen timer, and you start that, and then when you're done, you turn the kitchen timer off.
Oh no, I've lost hours just wallowing.
7 days you've spent there.
Do you answer people on comment threads?
No. Oh God, no.
You just read.
I just read. I've got to know.
Like voyeuristic.
I have to know how dumb my fellow man is. I have to know.
You can't just like step outside and be like, yep.
I need to see the worst of it. I need to see the absolute worst of it.
Man.
Yeah, I can't help it.
Why?
I don't know. I have to.
We like, our next guest needs to be a therapist.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Probably a good choice.
You've got the padded walls in here, so
exactly.
You're on the right path.
Yeah.
Instead, I choose to just talk about cars and drink whiskey to solve my problems.
Yeah. No, those things have nothing to do with it.
I know. I'm empty too.
Yeah.
Which means it's probably time to wrap it up.
It is.
We've been here a long time.
We have. But we've had a fantastic time talking to Andrew.
That's what happens when we have a van.
This has been great.
Yeah. Thank you for coming on the show, Andrew.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
You van-manned up in the podcast. We could build a blanket fort inside the van. Didn't you suggest that?
We could take the seats out. It takes all three of us to remove them.
Yeah, those things are heavy. Yeah. Right? Mercedes was like, oh, crap, they're going to think it's cheap if they're light. Like, just throwing lead into them. Yeah. The children will never lick them.
That's why it's so expensive, because they put all the lead in there.
Yeah,
Heavy.
exactly.
Yep.
Exactly.
Yep.
Lead's expensive.
Ian?
Dave.
Let's do some plugs.
Yes. Andrew, where can people find you?
Yes.
Where can people call you?
Odd
hours.
Whitepages.com. Type in my phone number or
yeah.
type in my name. You can find me at The Car Connection, thecarconnection.com. You can find me at Motor Authority, motorauthority.com. And you can find me at Green Car Reports, greencarreports.com. We are all part of the same family of websites.
Awesome.
Those are the primary places to find me. There's a couple of coffee shops that I like around town. There's a grocery store I shop at often. And you can look for the white Mercedes van.
Right.
Yeah.
At least for the next few days.
Tell somebody about your next doctor visit in case they want to like ride shotgun on that too.
Yeah, I might, a second opinion's not bad.
Right. I'm going to the dentist. Do you just want to get in there?
I'm due for that checkup,
Check C16 or something.
Yeah.
Ridiculous. Well, you can find all of our particulars, Dave, at TeamClearCoat.com.
That's right, buddy.
That's it.
Yep. Rate and review us on iTunes.
Please, and tell all of your friends.
Sucker one of your friends into coming into your own blanket fort.
Yeah, maybe put maybe I don't know, just throwing this out here for anyone who might be listening. Put a sticker of ours on a press car.
Exactly.
Maybe a press van.
Maybe a Mercedes van.
Yeah.
Maybe it's already happened.
Oh, jeez. That's why you walked away.
Goodbye, everybody.